Everything, anything that comes in front of you, any experience, every event, everything is an expression of the divine surrender. That acumen has to come about, has to be developed. On one hand, we develop it, knowing fully well that development is in the hands of the Lord, by the grace of the Lord. And that is exactly how Ahalya has been able to sing such a divine stuti, such a divine song in the recognition of who Lord Sri Ram is. Tvat kamale sakta bhakti reva sadastu me. Let my mind be ever staying situated, dedicated at your Tvat kamale, at your lotus feet. Sakta, be attached to it with in devotion. Bhakti hi eva sada astu me. Bhakti hi eva, in devotion, in reverence, in respect, in surrender. And then Namaste Purushadhyaksha, Namaste Bhaktavatsala. Then she says, O Master of the Lord of Men, Purushadhyaksha, Adhyaksha. Either you can say Adhyaksha as the Master of the Lord of Men, or you can say the first Purusha, Purushottama Yoga, that Purusha. Adhyaksha means the Lord. Because all other Purushas, you are a Purusha, I am a Purusha. Purusha, see, the being, all beings are imagined in that one being. Who is that one being? The Purusha Adhyaksha. That, in that Purusha Adhyaksha, I bow before you. And Bhakta Vatsala, who loves his devotees. O lover of the lover and benefactor of devotees, I bow my head before you with folded hands. Namastestu Rishikesha Narayana Namostute. O Rishikesh, O Vishnu, O Narayana, O Rishikesh, the long-haired one, Narayana, the one, the Lord himself, the Ishvara himself, the Lord Vishnu, different names he is known as. And I bow my head repeatedly, Namostute, Namostute. This verse began with Namaste, Purushadhyaksha, and it concludes with Namostute. Why? She is, the love, the surrender is pouring out of her. And the only way, when we are unable to express in words the divine love, that which is filling our heart and being, it only expresses as Namaste Stu Mahamaye Shri Pithe Surapujite. Namaste, Namaste, Namaste. You want to fall, you want to surrender, you want to melt, dissolve yourself at the altar. That altar is in our heart alone. Again and again and again and again and again. The altar is not only in our heart, it also the whole world. And here that whole world is present in front of you as Sri Ram. How wonderful. She continues, Bhavabhayharamekam bhanukoti prakasham karadhruta sharachapam kalameghavabhasam kanakaruchiravastram ratnavat kundaladhyam kamalaveshadanetram sanujarama midhe. I sing the praises, honors and glories of Sri Ram along with his younger brother Lakshmana, who is the only one to remove the fears of the world. Bhava bhayahara mekam. This is the, who is the only one to remove the fear of this world. He is the dynamic one. He is the fearless one. He is the Kala himself. Who? Lakshmana. See how much knowledge is revealing out of her, Ahalya. The entire secret of the whole creation is at her fingertips now. Same secret of the whole creation was at the fingertips of gopis. When Uddhav goes to teach them, they teach him and send him back. See? Then Bhanu Koti Prakasham is splendorous and brilliant like crores of sun. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. You are brighter than all sources of light. Here it says, you are brighter than millions and millions of suns put together. You are brighter than that. Then Karaghruta Sharachapam, and who bears a bow and arrow in his lotus-like hand. See, Ramchandraji is the long-armed one, and the some places we see him holding one arrow and the bow on his shoulder. So that probably is the vision that she's seeing. Kala Meghava Bhasham. Kala Meghava Bhasham has a radiance like a dark rain cloud. Shama Varna. And Lakshmana is, what is the word? White complexion को क्या बोलते हैं? श्वेत वर्ण. And Ramchandraji is Shyama Varna. And she is noticing that he is wearing a magnificent yellow garment which is colored like gold. And Kanaka Ruchira Vastram. Kanaka, gold. Kanaka is gold. Ruchira, like. He likes to wear the clothes of the color of gold. And then after that, Ratnavat Kundaladhyam. Ratnavat Kundaladhyam is adorned by earrings studded with jewels and gems. Kundala is the earrings. Ratna is the, what do you call, gems. And the last one, Kamala Vishada Netram, and who has beautiful, enchanting, lotus-like eyes, or broad eyes which are like the petals of a lotus flower. When we see all this, if we have to imagine, if we are still at our mind level, if we still think that we are the mind, majority of us have this problem, no? So, with that mind, what we should pursue? Should we pursue the world? Should we pursue the future? Should we pursue the past? Should we pursue the relations, possessions? Should we pursue the time or lack of time? What we should pursue? Or we should pursue with our mind some vision as it is presented here in this 60th verse. That will be beneficial. That will be a blessing. That will undo all the knots. That will relax the mind. And only in a relaxed, content, happy mind does the Lord reveal himself in this manner. Saying this, Stut, continuing 61st and 62nd verse, Stut vaivam purusham sakshad raghavam purata sthitam parikramya pranamyashu sanugnataya yaupatim ahalyaya krutam stotram yah pated bhakti sanyutaha samuchyate akhilahi papaihi param brahmadhigacchati. Stutvaivam Purusham Sakshad. Purusham Sakshad is Sri Ram himself, Sri Raghava, Purata Sthitam, who was standing in front of her and singing. She sang Ahalya Stutvaivam. She sang the glories of Raghava, who was standing in front of her, and parikramya pranamyashu sanugnata yayaupatim, and went around him. Parikramya went around him. That, what is that? Circumambulation. She did circumambulation around him and did pranamyashu, meaning she did namaskar and did pranam and honored him. And then sanugnata, meaning took permission, yayaupatim, and honored him, and then took permission to go to her husband Gautam's place. Patim, husband. Here it is written Gautam, but to her husband's place. Ahalyaya krutam stotram yapated bhakti sanyutaha. Those people, here the Falashruti is given, that those people, one moment. Those people who read this stotra, the Ahalya Stuti, sung by Ahalya, and we can, here it says, sacred hymn sung in the honor of Lord, composed and sung by Ahalya. I don't think she composed it. It revealed out of her spontaneously. And sung by Ahalya shall be liberated from their sins and their effects and attain the most exalted stature of oneness with the Lord, or attain emancipation and salvation of their souls. This is the Falashruti. This is the beauty of our scriptures, you know. Every chapter we saw before also, here also we are seeing how merely chanting by Ram Hridayam, emancipation was the result. Chanting of Ahalya Stuti, emancipation again, salvation. And here the what you call Falashruti continues. Putradyarthe pathed bhaktya Ramam hridhi nidhaya cha samvatsarena labhate vandhya api suputrakam sarvan kaman avapnoti Ramachandra prasadataha. Even a barren woman who recites this stotra with due devotion, faith and conviction, with Sri Ram enshrined in her heart and with a desire to have a son, shall be blessed by an excellent son within a year. Besides it, all her desires can be fulfilled by the grace and benediction and beneficence of Sri Ram. So here it goes. This particular verse 63-64 is for you people. I am only chanting it for you people. So that is the Falashruti. Continuing, Brahmagno Guru Talpagopi Purushaste Surapopi va. कुछ गड़बड़ है ट्यून. ब्रह्मग्नो गुरुतल्पगोपि पुरुषः स्तेयी सुरापोऽपि वा मातृभ्रातृविहंसकोऽपि सततं भोगैकबद्धातुरः नित्यं स्तोत्रमिदं जपन् रघुपतिं भक्त्या हृदिस्थं स्मरन् ध्यायन् मुक्तिमुपैति किं पुनरसौ स्वाचारयुक्तो नरः. Continuing with the Falashruti, even they who are the slayers of Brahmin, this is what was told in Ram Hridayam also. Even Brahmagno, those who have killed a Brahmin, who are Brahmins? Those who are contemplators of the truth, those who are devotees of the truth, those who are living a a, a cultured life, those who are involved in the scriptures, which are only talking about the higher, such people are called Brahmins. Even they who are slayers of Brahmin have sexual relationship with the wife of their guru, moral preceptor, teacher, and are thieves, are drunkards, are cruel towards their parents and brothers, and are constantly engrossed in gratification of the sense organs, worldly pleasures, can have liberation from the shackles of this mundane world and achieve emancipation and salvation by daily, constant, persistent remembering, concentrating, meditating, and contemplating upon Sri Ram, who resides in their heart, as well as by reciting this stotra sung by Ahalya. Why only this stotra? You can sing anything, but here we see there is a connection because Ahalya did something wrong and she atoned for her sins and she was liberated. So, same thing, we are also doing many things wrong in our life. And if we are sincere in our liberation, in our urge to liberate, in our desire to liberate, then with devotion, with sincerity, with regularity, we should chant this Ahalya Stotram and it will bring about our salvation. If this salvation and emancipation can be achieved by such wicked, evil, pervert persons, what to say of those who are who are righteous, noble, and upright? There is no doubt or confusion about their emancipation and salvation. So, this Ahalya Stotram, it benefits one and all. Balakand, 6th canto, 6th chapter of the Balakand. The bow breaking ceremony and Sri Ram's marriage. Now, don't forget, Sri Ram, after having killed Tadaka, Marich, and Subahu, Marich he threw him away, and Subahu he killed, and then after 3 days of rest, our Vishwamitra, sage Vishwamitra, he is taking them to the Janakpuri, Mithila, where this Shivadhanush is present there. Parshuramji has kept the Shivadhanush with King Janak, who himself is a realized person. And there is every 12 years there is a great ceremony that is conducted there. And on way to Mithila, they stopped to grace Ahalya at the Gautam Rishi ashram. And now, having done that, liberated Ahalya, the Sut Maharaj, who is telling this the story to the various thousands of rishis who are sitting there, he continues, Vishwamitro tatam braha raghavam saha lakshmanam gacchamo vatsamithilam janakena bipalitam društva kratuvaram paschad ayodhyam gantumarhasi ityuktva prayayo gangam uttatum saharaghavah tasmin kale navikena nishiddho raghunandanaha. Sage Sut Maharaj says, thereafter Vishwamitro tatam praha raghavam saha lakshmanam, and thereafter Vishwamitra athatam praha. Now he said to Raghava, Sri Ram and Lakshman, what? Gacchamo vatsa mithilam. Now we shall go to the city of Mithila, Janakena bhipalitam. And where is this Mila? Which is this city? Which is looked after by the king named Janaka. For your information, there were 14 Janakas. Janakas are There purposely the name Janaka means in Sanskrit the word Janaka means father. Father, why these Janaka, king of Mithila is called Janaka? Because all these 14, especially these 14, they were all realized masters, and they considered every citizen of the Mithila Nagari or Janakpuri to be their child. That was the disposition of these great kings. And in this manner, दृष्ट्वा क्रतुवरं पश्चाद अयोध्याम गंतुम अर्हसि. After seeing the yajna ceremony, a special religious sacrifice performed by him, you can go back to Ayodhya. Ayodhyam gantum arasi. After the Havana or the puja is done, then Iktyuktva prayayau gangam uttartum saharagavaha. Saying thus, he came to the banks of on the banks of Gangaji, the river, the Nadi, to cross it along with Sri Ram and Lakshman. There the boatman stopped Raghunanda Sri Ram from setting foot on his boat. Why did he stop him from? So let's see what he says. He says, Navika vacha क्षालयामि तव पादपङ्कजं नाथदारुदृशदोकिमन्तरं मानुषीकरणचूर्णमस्ति ते पादयोरिति कथा प्रथीयसि. The boatman, the Navik, he says, "O Lord, see, your Navik, the boatman, he knows the reality of Sri Ram." And he knows the reality of Sri Ram. With what bhav he says, Kshalayami tava pada pankajam. O Lord, it is well known that your feet has some magical dust that it can make an animate object into a human being. Because just now he has touched the stone and it has become into a human being. The word has spread very fast. And he is afraid that if the Lord steps into his boat, it will become of stone or something else. And then how will he subsist? How will he earn money? He won't have a boat to steer. So he says, just recently you had transformed a rock into a woman. What is the difference between a stone and a wood of which this boat is made up of? Hence, before you step in my boat, I will wash your feet to ensure that my wooden boat is not turned into a lady. Here, this story is told with reference to Guha. You know, after when Ramchandra ji goes to Vanvas, but in Adhyatma Ramayana and Valmiki Ramayana, the story comes here. Our Tulsidas ji puts this story with reference to Guha. He was the tribal king who was also a boatman. So here we see this is one of the differences. This is on way to Mithila. Ramchandra ji and Lakshman ji, they are not in Vanvas at the moment. This is Balakand going on. And they are going to Mithila, and on the way they are crossing the boat, and there this boatman is requesting Sri Ram to let him wash the feet because he doesn't want his boat to turn into a woman. Padambujam te vimalam hi krutva paschat param tiramaham nayami no chetari sadyuvati malena syached vibho vidhi kutumbahani hi. In this way, after getting your feet washed or cleansed, I shall take you across the river Gangaji. Otherwise, O Lord, if the boat turns into a beautiful woman by the touch of the dust of your feet, then the very livelihood of my family shall be snatched away from me. This is the fear, and it is the cleverness of that navik, of that boatman, to get the blessings of a person who has just turned. So maybe he knows that Ramchandraji is the Lord himself, but most probably it is because the news travels faster than walking. So he has already come to know that Ahalya, who was turned into stone after 1,000 years, has turned into a woman, and he is afraid. Maybe his boat is also some woman who has been turned into a boat. A simple mind, simple fear, and making sure that uh, giving the reason that the livelihood of my family is not snatched away, let me wash your feet. What a blessing! इत्युक्त्वा क्षालितौ पादौ परं तीरं ततो गताः कौशिको रघुनाथेन सहितो मिथिलां ययौ विदेहस्य पुरं प्रातर् ऋषिवाटं समाविशत् प्राप्तं कौशिकमाकर्ण्य जनकोऽतिमुदान्वितः पूजाद्रव्याणि सङ्गृह्य सोपाध्याय समाययौ दण्डवत् प्रणिपत्याथ पूजयामास कौशिकम्. Saying this, the kevat, the boatman, the kevat, not guha, kevat, the boatman washed his feet and then took him across the river. From there, sage Vishwamitra, accompanied by Sri Ram and Lakshman, proceeded to Mithilapuri, Janakpuri. Then Videhasya puram pratah Rishivatam samavishat. At dawn, at the crack of dawn, they arrived at Videha Nagari. Videhasya, they arrived at the Videha Nagari and halted at the place earmarked for ascetic sages and hermits. Rishivatam samavishata. Samavishata, they entered in that area, which was, so that time, where the different types of people, according to their importance, according to their caliber, they were placed in different. A king will not live with a common man, he will be given appropriate accommodation. Rishis don't need to live in a palace, so they were given special hermitages were made and made available for them to stay. Even when I travel alone, we stay in ashrams or we stay in Nagababa's kutia or wherever. Those are appropriate for us. Why should we stay? But when I go with Grahasthas, good hotels. But when I go alone, we stay wherever that which is most conducive to our way. Live on bhiksha. Go with Grahasthas, eat in restaurant. But I take them to ashrams also, and they eat bhiksha also there. And it's more tasty than the hotels. At that time, hearing the news of the arrival of sage Vishwamitra, King Janaka felt extremely delighted. Praptam Kaushikamakarnya. Another name for our sage Vishwamitra is Kaushika, because he comes from that lineage. And Janako Ati Mudanvitaha, Mud, that happy. Mudanvitaha, extremely delighted. And Puja Dravyani Sangruhi Sopadhyaya Samayayau. And taking all the puja dravyani, all the ingredients of puja, etc., take all of them for worship and welcome. He Sopadhyaya Samayayo, he came there along with his royal retinue and priests. Who were they? Here it is written Shatanand. Shatananda was the, just like Vishwamitra was the, sage Vashishta was the Kul Guru of Ayodhya, of the Raghukul. Similarly, Shatanand is the Kul Guru of the Janakpuri. and prostrated before the most exalted sage Vishwamitra and honored him. Dandavat pranipatyath. Dandavat, Sakstang Namaskar. Danda means like a wood, log of wood. Vat, fall down, no bending anywhere. Patak, and then stand up. Pujayamasa Kaushikam, and they all fell. Dandavat, did Sastang Pranam to the Kaushikam, sage Vishwamitra. Papracharaghavav društva sarvalakshana sanyutau द्योतयन्तौ दिशः सर्वान् चन्द्रसूर्या विवापरौ कस्यैतौ नरशार्दूलौ पुत्रौ देवसुतोपमौ मनः प्रीतिकरौ मेद्य नरनारायणाविव. See, Janak Maharaj, he is a realized master. Janak Maharaj is a abode of all knowledge. He has the divine vision. And after having prostrated to sage Vishwamitra, sage Kaushika, then seeing Papracha Raghavau Društva, having seen the two princes, Sarva Lakshana Sanyuto, who were who were endowed with all Lakshana, Sarva Lakshana Sanyuta, who had all the auspiciousness around them. And what is the auspiciousness written here? Having seen the two princes of Raghu clan, who lighted up all the directions, and their radiant glow like a second duplicate, pale, brilliant and splendorous sun, as well as the magnificent and enchanting moon respectively, he asked. So here when he says Dyotayantav Disha, Dyotayantav, spreading light in all directions, Sarvaha Chandra Surya Vivaparo, like the light is spread all over by the sun and the moon. Who is the sun? Sri Ram is the sun. Who is the moon? Lakshmana is the moon. Kasyaitau nara shardulau putrau deva sutopamau. He is asking a question. To whom? Sage Vishwamitra. Who are these two lions or tigers? Narashardula, who resemble the sons of gods. Devasuta. Upama, like. Upama is simile. Simile is who are like. Narashardula, who are like Devasuta, who are like the children, who are like gods or sons of gods, or who are like the tigers or lions. Manapriti karau me adya naranarayana viva. They kindle, ignite affection in my heart as if they were themselves Naranarayana. How wonderful. He is recognized without knowing their true nature. But he is a realized master. He already knows. And he is voicing it out. But it is best to allow, because Vishwamitra is a guest. So he is presenting his assessment, but it has to be confirmed by sage Vishwamitra. Ram and Lakshman, they will not say one word. Why? They are like the Kamandalu of sage Vishwamitra. Like the water in the Kamandalu of sage Vishwamitra. Whatever he does, they will do. No will of their own. That is how students have to be towards the teacher. Pratyuvacha muni prito harshayan janakam tada putrau dasharathasyaitam भ्रातरौ रामलक्ष्मणौ मखसंरक्षणार्थाय मया नीतौ पितुः पुरात् आगच्छन् राघवो मार्गे ताटकां विश्वघातिनीं. Then sage Vishwamitra made Janak. See, he did not even say that Vishwamitra, please tell me. He just asked the question, looking at Vishwamitra. And he's looking at Ram and Lakshman, but he's asking the question to Vishwamitra. Ram Lakshman हमारी तरह नहीं है, किसी को बोलने से पहले खुद ही अपना बोल दो. Sage Vishwamitra answers, and he knows Sage Vishwamitra has ulterior motive. He knows why he told Janakji, Dasharatha, and our sage Vashishta also told Dasharatha. Why? Narayana is going to be together with his Lakshmi, that's why, and sage Vishwamitra is only the instrument in between, and he feels delighted that the King Janaka has recognized the reality of Ram and Lakshman, and with a great happiness in his heart, he says, these two brothers are Putrau Dasharathasyaitau Bhratarau Rama Lakshmanau. These two brothers, Bhratarau, are Ram and Lakshmana, and they are the two sons of King Dasharath, the king of Ayodhya. Makhasang Rakshanarthaya Mayanitau Pitupurat. And I have brought them from Ayodhya. See, when a guru is happy with his student, with his disciple, he does not fall short of praising the disciple whom he loves so much, because Ram and Lakshman, they have accomplished in keeping the evil away. And that was the demand of sage Vishwamitra when he brought Sri Ram and Lakshman from Ayodhya. And now he can't stop singing the glory of his two proteges, and he adds to it. He could have just stopped there, that these are the sons of King Dasharatha. But on top of that, what does he say? Makasang Rakshanarthaya Mayanitau Pidupurat Agachan Raghavo Marge Tatakam Vishwaghatini. That I have brought them from Ayodhya to protect my fire sacrifice, the Havan that was, and which was being disturbed by the demons. And on the way, the most valorous and brilliant Raghav, Sri Ram, has slain Tadka, who was terrorizing this world by a single arrow at my instructions. See, all the qualities of Ram have been told in that one line. What are they? That I brought them to protect. So Ramchandra ji is a protector. Then secondly, it was not protective because I needed it. I was doing a fire sacrifice and he protected it. And in that he adds that these Raghav and Ram and Lakshman, they have the capacity and to show that the readiness in Ramchandra ji to protect, that he slayed Tadka. Tadka is a woman. Remember, that's the first kill of Sri Ram, if we want to use that word. And our Shri Krishna also, the first kill was Putana. It is that Putana, that Tadka, that is the asakti, that is the avidya, that is the desire that needs to be killed. And he says, how did he accomplish that? So who was this Tadka? She's a demoness, and she's destroying all the fire sacrifices of all the saints and sages in that area. And how did this Ram accomplish that? By a single arrow. And which arrow? At my instructions. He did not kill Tadka, because to kill a woman is a no-no. So Vishwamitra immediately, see, that is how gurus are, Mahatmas are. Immediately he takes the responsibility that no, he did not do it by his own free will, he did it on my command. So on one hand, he shows how Ramchandra ji is so duty bound, how he is valorous, how strong he is, how he has come. What is for that? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma sansthapanarthaya. So Did everyone know that this is the avatar of the Narayana which has come on earth? No. But in these two lines, we can see this verse expressing itself. Paritranaya sadhunam, he came to protect my sacrifice. Vinashaya cha duskritam, he killed and slayed Tadaka and other demons. Dharma sansthapanarthaya, so that the dharma, that is the practices which our saints and sages are carrying out, they are continuing. And saints and sages, they never do anything for themselves. It is always for the benefit of the humanity, benefit of the creation, benefit of the universe. It is never for their own benefit. They live with minimum, but they give in return maximum to the world because of that renunciation. And dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami, and that part we will leave it here because that is that the famous verse there. But all those three qualities of paritranaya sadhunam, one, vinashaya cha duskritam, two, and dharma sansthapanarthaya. These three qualities have been highlighted by Vishwamitra while talking about Sri Ram. See, the Guru also must feel proud if the student, if the Shishya follows the diktat of the teacher, follows the teachings of the teacher, follows the sanskar of the teacher, follows the suggestions, then the teacher also is because very rare to find such people, very rare to find such students. Most of the students, remember, students approaches teacher with doubt. The teacher accepts student with faith. And what is the faith? What is the recognition? That everything is one. And what is the approach of the student? What this teacher can teach me? Let's experiment. If he is the teacher who is meant for me, lag gaya. But Ramchandra ji is not so. He wholeheartedly, without any ifs, buts, maybes, nothing, completely 100% he accepted Vishwamitra as the Guru. And naturally, our sage Vishwamitra also is singing his glory. That's a different matter, that he knows that Sri Ram is Lord Narayana himself. That's a different matter. Continuing. Where are we? He doesn't stop there. He keeps singing his glory. Sharenaikena hatavanno udito meti vikramaha tato mamashramam gatva mama yajna vihunsakan subahu pramukhan hatva maricham sagare kshipat tato ganga tate punye गौतमस्याश्रमं शुभं गत्वा तत्र शिलारूपा गौतमस्य वधूस्थिता पादपङ्कजसंस्पर्शात् कृता मानुषरूपिणी. This is the Guru Maharaj. This is the Sadhu Maharaj. Vishwamitra itself means the one who is the friend of the whole world. He gave Gayatri Mantra first. Now he is presenting the Lord Narayana himself, and he cannot stop singing his glory. First he talks about the death of Tadaka, and now thereafter Sharenaikena Hatvano Udito Me Ati Vikramaha. And having reached my hermitage, he killed Subahu and other demons who were desecrating the havan, the fire sacrifice. Tato mama ashramam gatva mama yajna vihonsikan. Yajna vihonsikan, they were disturbing the the himsa kar rahe the, meaning they were destroying the havan by throwing the blood, bones, etc. And gatva mama ashrama. So two places it is said, tataha, thereafter, mama ashramam gatva, having gone to our ashram, mama yajna vahumsikan, and the yajna that we were doing, which was being disturbed by all these negative elements, and he killed Ativikramaha. And then he says, Subha, and who are these demons who are disturbing? Subhahu Pramukhan Hatva. Subhahu, strong armed. He is the main one, and he was Mukhan Hatva Maricham Sagare Kshipata. He killed with one arrow, he killed Subhahu, and with the second arrow, he threw Maricha hundreds of yojanas away across the ocean. And after that, Tato Ganga Tate Punye Gautamasya Ashramam Shubham. And after doing this great feat, we came to Gautama Ashram. Where are we? On the banks of the Gangaji. We came to the ashram of Rishi Gautam. Gatva Tatra Shila Rupa Gautamasya Vadhu Sthita. And which is this ashram? Important, it's not that it is Gautama ashram. It is that ashram where there was Ahalya, who is the wife of Sage Gautam, who was situated there in the form of a stone. And what did he do there? Pada Pankaja Sansparshat Kruta Manusha Rupini. And there he saw Gautama's wife in the form of a stone and turned her back into a divine human form by merely touching her with his lotus feet. Wow, 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 wow. What will be the state of Janak Maharaj? It can only be imagined in front of your eyes. If you are, as I am telling the story, you are seeing the movie going on in front of your eyes. Drishtva halyam namaskritya taya samyak prapujitaha idanim drashtukamaste gruhe maheshwaram dhanuhu pujitam rajabhi sarvaihi drushtamityanushushruve ato darshaya jajendra shaivam chapamanutamam drashtva yodhyam jigamishuhu pitaram drashtumechati. And there, Drishtva Ahalyam Namaskritya, and the moment that big piece of stone was turned into a beautiful maiden called Ahalya, maiden or wife of Gautam Rishi, Ahalya, seeing Ahalya, Sri Ram did Namaskritya Taya Samyak Prapujitaha, and Sri Ram bowed down to her and paid his respects to her, and then accepted her offerings of worship and prayer. That does not mean that Ramchandra ji wanted to be worshipped by Ahalya, but understand, kings, princes, they are used to all this because the citizens of the country, they do these things. But here he is also surprised, अच्छा मैं भी कुछ 30 मार का हूँ क्या, कुछ निकला, ये कैसे हो गया? But he doesn't feel that I have done it. The greatness of a Shishya is all is my Guru's doing. And presently he has, so now the commentary goes on. Vishwamitra is not stopping singing the glory of Sri Ram, and he says, and she worshipped him she worshipped him and she sang a stuti for him, and thereafter he has come here to have a look at Shiva's bow, the Pinaka Dhanush, which was given by Parshuram to Janak Maharaj. The uniqueness of this Pinaka Dhanush was only Sita could lift it. Hundreds of people come together also, they can't lift it. But Sita could with one finger lift it. And therefore, when she grew into a beautiful girl, now ready to be married, whom can we find? Whom should we get her married to? It was a very difficult proposition. So many good eligible husbands were there. including Ravan. But how do we do? Select. So then one day, Janak Maharaj, well, anyway, I will not tell the story now. Or I will tell. Janak Maharaj came to the conclusion that this, whoever lifts this Pinaka Dhanush will be the eligible bachelor. And therefore, O king, I have heard that the bow is highly revered and worshipped at your place, and all the kings have already seen it. Therefore, O king, show that bow of Lord Shiva to Sri Ram and Lakshman, because they wish to return to their parents at Ayodhya soon after having seen it. See, this is the art of language. What did Janak Maharaj see? Janak Maharaj saw in Ram and Lakshman Nar and Narayan. He is already impressed by these two young people. And on top of that, now having heard the glory, the feats which these two boys who are in the eyes of Janak Maharaj, Nar and Narayan, who have performed such great feats of killing Tadaka, killing Subahu, throwing away Marich, and then redeemed Ahalya and bringing her to her, giving her liberation. He is impressed, man. Till now, nobody has come in front of him. Yes, there is one Ravan who has done something. But this is the art. Vishwamitra, on one hand, Janak Maharaj is impressed, and on the other hand, Vishwamitra is clear that I have brought, clear means he's teasing him probably, because he already told that he is bringing them to, for a great, it will be beneficial if they come with him. So it will only add to their glory. And Vashishta ji has already told that this marriage is going to take place. So sage Vishwamitra is playing the game. He says, I have just come to show these two boys the Pinaka Dhanush, and after that, now my job is done and I am ready to take them back. They are also eager to go back to their Ayodhya. Ityukto munina raja पूजार्हा विधि पूजया पूजयामास धर्मज्ञो vidhidrushten karmana. When Vishwamitra ji had said so, the most righteous King Janak duly honored and worshipped Sri Ram and Lakshmana, considering or regarding them to be worthy of it. See, after hearing the glory from the mouth of sage Vishwamitra himself, King Janak could not stop himself. He had to give them the due respect. Yes, one respect is they are the princes of Ayodhya. One respect is they are the sons of Dasharatha, who is a great king, no doubt. But now, that was first. But after Vishwamitra sings the glory of their feats, now a renewed respect in the eyes of Janak Maharaj for these two boys who are at that sweet 16 age. They are like tigers. He's already said they look like two ferocious tigers. They look like sons of gods. And now it's not son. Now here, what he had thought they are like tigers, these acts are proving that his assessment of these two boys was not wrong. See? Now what does Janak Maharaj says? He is affected by the words. He is influenced by the presence of Sri Ram and Lakshman. He is, he is in love. So let's see what he says. Janaka uvacha tata sampreshayamasa mantrinam buddhimattaram shigramanaya vishvesha chapam ramaya darshaya. He says, Janak Maharaj says Then he sent his wise ministers with the instruction that he should bring the bow of Vishweshwar literally to the Lord of the universe, and that is Lord Shiva, soon, and show it to Sri Ram. So everything is expedited. Now, when the king has given the orders, things have to happen fast. Why? Vishwamitra said, Ramchandraji and Lakshmanji want to go back to their kingdom. When the Tato Gate Mantrivare Raja Tato Gate Mantrivare Raja Kaushikam Abravita Yadi Ramo Dhanur Ghrutva Kotyamaropayed Gunam Tadamayatmaja Sita Diyate Ragavayahi Tatheti Kaushikopyaha Ramam Samvikshya Sasmitam. When the minister had gone, the king said to Vishwamitra, if Sri Ram can lift the bow and string it, Tato Gate Mantrivare Raja, when the mantris had gone, Kaushikam Abravit. Abravit spoke. Spoke to whom? Kaushika, that is sage Vishwamitra. Yadi, if Ramo Dhanur Dhrutva, if Ram can lift Dhanuhu, can lift the bow and Kotyamaropayed Gunam, and he can string it, Aropya, Tadamayatmaja Sita. I will surely marry my daughter Sita to him. Bolo Siyavara Ramachandra ki jai. Then Vishwamitra glanced at Sri Ram and smilingly replied, Tadhastu. Tatheti Kaushikopya api. Tatheti Kaushikaha api aha Ramam Samvikshya Sansmitam. Sansmitam, smilingly. Kaushika is again sage Vishwamitra. He looked at Sri Ram with a smile and then he said, Tatheti, oh, so be it. Tathaiti. Kitna majedar. If you just, in English it doesn't come out that beautiful, but in Sanskrit, just reading the Sanskrit verses, the picture is coming in front. I am what you call, allowing the mind to be carried away by the emotion of it. How beautiful. Shighram darshaya chapagrem Ramaya mitave tejase Ramaya mita tejase evam bruvati maunisha agataschapavahakaha chapam grihitva balinaha panchasahasra sankhyakaha Ghantashatasama-yuktam Manibajradi-bhushitam. See, remember one thing, that all the kings have already seen the bow. Oh, so here he says, O king, show that excellent bow to Sri Ram. Vishwamitra is saying, show that the Pinaka Dhanush to Sri Ram, who has measureless splendor, brilliance and glory very soon. As soon as the sage had said so, 5,000 most strong carriers brought that excellent huge bow there. Hundreds of bells were tied to it and it was decorated with diamonds, gems and other jewels. Now, understand, what we have read or you know from from Tulsi Ramayana, there is the Sabha and everything going on. Here it is not presented in this way. In Valmiki Ramayana, I am reading it now with Manojji and Kuti, but we haven't reached this point yet. But in Adhyatma Ramayana, 5,000, 5,000 most strong carriers, means 5,000 horses or elephants, they were pulling that bow and bringing it to Sri Ram. Hundreds, and it was beautifully decorated. And there, Darshayamasa Ramaya Mantri Mantrayatam Varaha Drushtva Rama Prahrishtatma Badhva parikaram drudham gruhitva vamahastena leelaya tolayan dhanuhu aropayamasa gunam pashyat swakhila rajasu. Then the minister darshayamasa ramaya mantri mantritam varaha. Then the minister of Janak, who was the best among his advisors, mantritam, among advisors, showed Sri Ram that bow. Drishtva Rama Prahishtatma Badhva Parikaram Dridham. As soon as Sri Ram saw no, here we should put it this way, Drishtva, having seen that beautiful, wonderful bow by Sri Ram got ready and immediately kamar kaske kya, the angavastra, he tied it around, because he had that cloth around, he tied it so that there is no loose cloth around, and tightly around his waist as a gesture of readiness. Gruhitva vamahastena, gruhitva to hold, having held the bow, vamahastena by the left hand, leelaya tolayan dhanuhu, and firmly held the bow with his left hand as if it was a mere sport or play. Tolaya, लीलया स्पोर्टिंगली, कुछ भी नहीं है. इतने लोग सिर्फ देख रहे हैं. 5,000 horses or elephants, strong vehicles are pulling it, and here Ramchandra ji is just by left hand, he just like that he lifted. Aropayamasa gunam pashyat swakhila rajasu, and firmly held the bow with his left hand, and as if it was merely a sport or play, and then aropayamasa, and aropa is to put the string, guna, he stringed it as all the kings, it is all the assembled kings washed it. Meaning, what we are here, they have not gone into the explanations of the setting, but it is right that it is happening in that in a big great hall, and there all the kings are sitting there. The chariot, the what you call, the Pinaka Dhanush was brought. Then, and he stringed it even as all the kings were watching it. Then Ishadakarshayamasa panina dakshinena saha babhanjakhila hrutsaro disha purayan dishascha vidishashchaiva swargam martyam rasatalam padadbhutam abhutatra devanam divi pashyatam achadayanta kusumaihi devastutibhiridire devadundubhayo neduhu nanrutaschaapsaro ganaha. Then he who resides in and is most dear to the hearts of all, Sri Ram, pulled that bow slightly because the bow was big. He lifted it, he put it on the floor, held it with one foot, that is not told here, somewhere else. With the left foot he held the bottom of the bow, and because it was high, he pulled it down to string it, and that time what happened? Pulled that bow slightly with his right hand, and it broke with a thunderous sound which reverberated and echoed in all 10 directions of the world. All the way, Babhanjakhila hrutsaro disha shabdena purayan dishascha vidishashchaiva swarga martya rasatalam, all the way to the 7 heavens and the 7 rasatala, talatala, patala, all the way the seven lokas down and the 7 lokas up, all the way to Brahmaji. Everything started shaking because this Shiva Dhanush has been broken. Who dare break it? But Sri Ram, and he broke it with a thunderous sound which reverberated in all 10 directions of the world. Then in the 26th verse, pad adbhuta bhutatra devanam divi pashyatam. This sound echoed in everywhere, in heaven, earth, underground, everywhere, in subterranean worlds. For the gods watching from their celestial abode, it was a very strange, mysterious, dramatic occurrence. Why? Because it was a human being who is breaking the bow of the god, Lord Shiva. And they didn't know that Ramchandra ji is Lord Narayana himself. But a great feat has been performed, and gods don't shy from acknowledging a great what do you call feat. And there and then, what do? Achadayanta kusumaihi devastuti achadayanta, they started showering kusumaihi, all flowers, all the gods, they started showering flowers and started singing his glory. How? By all the dhol nagada, trumpets, kettle drums, conches, and sang the glories and honors of the Lord, while celestial female dancers broke into a spontaneous dance. Yeah. This is what you call this is the recognition of the gods that a great feat has just taken place. द्विधां भग्नं धनुर्दृष्ट्वा राजालिङ्ग्य रघोद्वहं विस्मयं लेभिरे सीताम् आतरो नतपुराजिरे सीता स्वर्णमयीं मालां गृहीत्वा दक्षिणे करे स्मितवक्त्रा स्वर्णवर्णा सर्वाभरणभूषिता मुक्ताहारैकर्णपत्रै क्वणच्चरणनूपुरा दुकूलपरिसंविता वस्त्रान्तर्व्यञ्जितस्तनी. Seeing that the bow has broken into two pieces, King Janaka happily, joyously, jubilantly embraced Sri Ram, while the mothers of Sita, that is the various queens of King Janak, who were present in the palace courtyard, were extremely astonished at the event. What was the astonishment? A human being has come and broken the bow. And thereafter, Sita Swarnamahim Malam Gruhitva Dakshine Kare Smita Vaktra Swarnavarna Sarvabharana Bhushita. After that, Sita, who was fully decked up, Sita Swarnamahim Malam, she was Gruhitva. Gruhitva means she was decked up with what? Swarnamala and various ornaments of the bridal gear. She was already ready there, and who had a complexion of Smitavaktra Swarnavarna. Her skin was like that of gold, it was shining like gold, and she had a golden garland in her right hand. Swarnamayim, Sita Swarna, where are we? Sita Swarnamayim Malam Grahitva Dakshine Kare, in the right hand. No, in the left hand she had the golden necklace, and Smitavaktra Swarnavarna, and who was having a slight smile, happy, mischievous, inquisitive, all put together, I think, yes, Smitavaktra Swarnavarna, and she was golden hued, Sarva Bharana Bhushita, and she was decked with all the ornaments. Muktaharai Karnapatraihi Kwanacharana Nupura, and she was adorned by a pearl of necklace. Muktaharai Karnapatrai. So she was adorned with a pearl necklace, earrings, tinklings, jingling anklets, that is that payal and other ornaments, while her full bosoms were apparent behind the excellent sari Dukula parisambita vastrantar venjina tastani. Stani is the bosom. And and she was looking absolutely wonderful. Then what happened? रामस्योपरि निक्षिप्य स्यमानामुदं ययौ ततो मुमुधिरे सर्वे राजदारास्वलङ्कृतं गवाक्षजालरन्ध्रेभ्यो दृष्ट्वा लोकविमोहनं ततो ब्रवीन्मुनिं राजा सर्वशास्त्रविशारदः स्माइलिंग मुमुदिरे smiling modestly, Sita put the garland on Sri Ram. Ramasyo parinikshipya syamana mudam yayau. And then tato mumudire sarve rajadara swalankrutam. So she, with a smile on her face, she put the golden garland around the neck of Sri Ram with delight, with happiness. In our Tulsi Ramayana, we see that Sita had met Sri Ram already in the flower garden, and they had accepted each other. आंखों ही आंखों में इशारा हो गया. But here in Adhyatma Ramayana, we are not here. I will take this whole story again in a different way. And all the queens who watched that fully decorated and world enchanting image of Sri Ram from the balconies and windows of the palace felt extremely exhilarated at that moment. Then the king Janak, who was an expert in all the Shastra scriptures, said to sage Vishwamitra, Bolo Siyavara Ramachandra ki Jai. Sita, what is that? रामाय रामभद्राय रामचंद्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताया पतये नमः. सीताराम गुणग्राम पुण्यारण्य विहारिणौ. What is next, Kuti? वंदे विशुद्ध विज्ञानौ कवीश्वर कपीश्वरौ. So, we have time? Yes, we have time. But we just conclude with what he says to the Vishwamitra, and then we conclude. भो कौशिक मुनिश्रेष्ठ पत्रं प्रेषय सत्वरं राजा दशरथ शीघ्रं आगच्छतु सपुत्रकः विवाहार्थं कुमाराणां सदार सह मन्त्रिभिः तथेति प्रेषयामास दूतांस्तवरित विक्रमान्. O great sage, O great exalted sage, now Vishwamitra is loved even more by King Janaka because Vishwamitra brought Sri Ram and Lakshmana only for viewing the Shiva Dhanush, and here something extraordinary is taking place, and he found a son-in-law in Sri Ram, and who was able to break the bow and so on. You should send, and immediately that in that exhilarating mood, he tells sage Vishwamitra that शीघ्रम आगच्छतु सपुत्रकः. Raja Dasharatha शीघ्रम आगच्छतु. Please send a message to King Dasharatha to immediately come. Agacchatu, to come immediately along with his other sons, saputrakah. And vivahartham kumaranam sadara samantribhi tatheti preshayamasa dutanstaviriti vikraman. He should come to attend the marriage ceremony of the princess, accompanied by his other sons, queens and ministers. Then Vishwamitra replied, all right, and send the messengers. What happens? We will... So our Sri Ram and Sita have come together. Now all the Sita, Ram Sita Lagnam, that we will see in our next And before we get into the next part, we'll just have an overview of the story from subjective unfoldment point of view. I have been telling you who was Subahu, who was Marich, who was Tadka, what was Ahalya, and now we come to the breaking of the bow and all that, the significance of that, how do we apply it on ourselves, how this journey of Sita to Ram or Ram to Sita, whichever way you put it. Here we say Ram to Sita because Sita is sitting in her palace and Ram is coming. That is so how this journey is unfolding, and the Purush and Prakriti is coming together within us. In fact, they are always within us. But from a seeker's point of view, how the Purusha, the Jiva, the seeker, the student, the Shishya, following the diktats of the teacher, Guru Maharaj, here it was sage Vishwamitra, how he accomplishes the union with his higher self, that we will see in our next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.